Hey wealth builders, and welcome back to The Bemused. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I track my spending using the Goodbudget app. If this is your first time seeing one of our videos, my name is Akeiva, and on this channel we talk all things money for young adults just like me. So if you want to start learning how to adult with your finances, build wealth, and use your money to live a life that you love, make sure you come join the squad by hitting that subscribe button and turning on post notifications by hitting the bell icon so that you never miss a single post from us. Now before we jump in, let's create some context. Firstly, I do not create or set up my budget within Goodbudget. I posted a video about a year ago at this point showing you how I actually come up with my master budget in Excel. So I have a link to that video up in the cards above so you can check that video out to see how I actually create my budget. I only use Goodbudget to track my spending after my budget has already been established. Secondly, the budget that I use is pretty static from month to month. I know there's some people out there, other YouTubers, etc., who like to do different budgets every single month and they create a new budget. That's not how I do things, and I don't usually budget down to the penny, and you'll see that as we go along in the process. So the Goodbudget app is a free app available on both iOS and Android devices. It's based off of the cash envelope system of budgeting. So if you've never heard of the cash envelope system, basically what it is that you would, whenever you get paid and whenever you get any type of income, you would go to the bank, withdraw all of your income in cash, and then literally have different envelopes for each of your budget items. So you have a literal envelope for rent, an envelope for gas, and you literally put cash within those envelopes. And whenever you go to spend, you would use the cash from those envelopes to pay your bills. So Goodbudget is kind of a play on the envelope system, and they use digital envelopes to help you keep track of your money. So the first step when using Goodbudget is to set up your envelopes by inputting your budget essentially into the app. So what I did was I took all of my budgeted expenditures from my Excel spreadsheet, from my master budget, and inputted those line items into the app. So this is my actual Goodbudget screen currently as of today. I've been using Goodbudget for I want to say a year and a half now, probably more than that, and this has been the system that's been working best for me. So you'll see that I have 10 envelopes for expenses and 1 for my savings. The expense envelopes are monthly, whereas the savings envelopes show you the annual goal. The free version of the app only allows you to have 10 expense envelopes, so you'll see that I've kind of lumped a couple of expenses together into one category to get around that. And you can also upgrade to the premium version of the app, which allows you unlimited envelopes for those of you who would like to have, different line items for various expenses and get, really down to the details. Then, as I mentioned in my payday routine video, which I'll also link up in the cards above if you haven't seen that yet, is that I fill each of my cash envelopes whenever I get paid. So if you go to fill your envelopes and you see that your envelopes can't be completely filled, you may have a problem in that you may have over budgeted, meaning that you have less income than your budgeted expenses. Now I get paid twice a month, so the way I do things is that I use my last paycheck of the month to cover most of my expenses for the following month. So I'm recording this on May 7th, and my last paycheck was on April 29th. So my first paycheck covered most of my expenses for this month. I get paid again toward the middle of May, so I'll use that paycheck to cover my remaining expenses, which include my rent for the month of June. My internet bill is also due toward the back half of the month, and then I also fill my miscellaneous expense bucket, which is kind of like my catch-all for any other expenses that don't neatly fit into any of my other categories. So like if I want to go get my nails done, or the occasional eating out, or if I want to go out somewhere, things like that, I will use my miscellaneous catch-all budget for those types of things. I also run my regular business expenses through there, and this is also the kind of the bucket that I use if I ever go over budget in any other category, which rarely happens. That's kind of where I'll pull from to even things out. So the envelopes that you see right now look low, or like I have nothing left to spend, are because 1, I pay a lot of bills on the first of the month, so they've already been paid, or 2, that envelope hasn't been filled for the month just yet. Now, as I spend money throughout the month, I input various transactions as I go, so I always know how much money I have left to spend in that month. This is why I personally love using an app to track my expenses, because, like most people, my phone is pretty much always on me. So whenever I have an expense, I can quickly, 15 seconds, kind of just input that transaction into the app and keep it pushing. And that way I don't have to wait until the end of the day or the end of the week to then kind of sit down and input everything, because knowing myself, I'll just never get around to doing that. So for example, I not too long got in from work, and on the way home I just stopped at CVS to pick up a couple of things, and so I can show you right now how I input that transaction very quickly into my app. So it's as easy as popping open the Goodbudget app. You see here, I will go to this top right to add a transaction. I'll hit payee. I'm just gonna put in CVS. See, it just pops up right there, and it'll autofill popular vendors, so that makes it easy as well. I spent $24.73, and that is gonna come out of my miscellaneous envelope, and that's already kind of pre-populated in there. It has a date, today, just a one-time thing. Usually I never really even look over that. I just put in the payee and the amount, the envelope, save, the end. And you'll see that my miscellaneous just shrunk down. Literally as quick and easy as that. One of the things I like about Goodbudget is that you can also set up recurring transactions in the app. For example, if you have expenses that get auto-debited from your checking account or auto, charged to your credit card, you can set those things up as recurring transactions. That way you don't have to go in manually every single time to record the expense. For me, for example, I have recurring expenses set up for things like my rent, my internet, the transfer to my sinking fund for car insurance, my car note, and my student loans. I also have recurring expenses set up to my miscellaneous budget for various business expenses, website hosting, things like that I mentioned earlier. Another feature that I don't personally pay much attention to, but that is helpful for a lot of people, is that the app will tell you kind of how you're doing with your spending relative to where you are in the month. For example, right now in my miscellaneous category, it says that I'm behind by $109.05, and it suggests that I stop spending for 12 days to kind of catch up and even out throughout the month. In a previous video, one squad member asked if the Goodbudget app allows you to download your transactions to Excel. And the answer is yes, you can. The great thing about the Goodbudget app is that it is linked to their online platform. So you can manage it both, using your regular computer or on your app, and they talk to each other and they sync with each other constantly. So when you log in on the online platform, you'll see that you have the capability to export your transactions if that's a useful feature for you. There's also a bunch of different spending reports and things that you can play around with. There's also a couple of reports available in the app. For example, there's a spending by envelope report that you can pull, and there's an income versus spending report that you can pull also in the app itself without having to go onto the online platform. So if you go to reports and hit on income versus spending report, for example, this is what my income versus spending report looks like between March 31st and I guess current day, even though it says May 31st. So you'll see your income in green, your spending on the other side. In April, I highly doubt I overspent. Usually it's because I haven't spent my entire budget in prior months, and so I've kind of built up some, and then I probably just used a lot of it in April. Goodbudget is also great for couples or multiple household members because you can each download the app on your phone and log into the same account, and that way anyone who inputs a transaction, you're all kind of communicating across devices, including the online platform. If you want to learn more about the nitty-gritty and details of how to do specific things in Goodbudget, they actually have their own YouTube channel, which I will link to in the description box below. I will also have a link to their website and the link to download the Goodbudget app to your phone in the description box. Thanks for watching, you guys. As always, leave any questions or thoughts in the comments below, and we'll make sure to answer every single one of them, and we'll see you guys in the next video.